free. The paradise they fantasize about, they are Atlantean, and they talk about, that is Africa. Thousands of years ago, everything was free. You eat for free. When you come, the people welcome you. They give you free food. They give you water. They clothe you. They even give you horse to go about it, or they feed your horse and everything and send you back. And when going, they give you extra food and water to take along the path for free. And PLO Lumumba will tell you more about that. Our brother in South Africa, who is today calling his fellow brothers, like, what's the essence of fighting your fellow black man? The hepatitis of which is a scheme sailed by the conceptual, where it's telling some people that they are better than some people. All of us are one. I don't get it. Your Bible says we are one people. When we go to heaven, we will be one. So you want to be one in heaven and you're not one on earth? So, like, how effed up is your religion again? You can't be one in heaven when you're not one on earth. Never. And the heaven is here. The paradise they speak of everything being free is here. The economists and the globalists, with their idea, changed the entire narrative for monetary purpose and for the worship of power, for them to for their names to live like cheating time. When they got to understand that aspect, that time, and we are on a journey of and for eternity, and by the time you start fully grasping and understand what eternity means, they want to cheat time. They want to leave their mark in time, most of which has always been negative. Napoleon, you can think of Napoleon today. Who give the F who Napoleon is? He had no effect on me, on my culture, on my people, but he cheated his way in time, because when he understood it, he know it will be taught for hundreds and thousands of years if the narrative isn't changed. He propagated war, went right to Russia to want to take that which is in his people's culture and their lives. I've never heard Russia came to France to take their land, or went to Britain to take their land, or impose on them how they should go about their culture and their beliefs. I haven't heard Russia did such a thing. But the Europeans, with their still misguided conception of not even fully understanding who God is, want to like keep cheating time and changing narratives of things. When Hitler understood those, he also wanted to play his part in time. You can call all of them. Like he has in mind, like, I don't know if he's been glorified today or he's been shunned at, or like used as an example for bad, but still yet he's been glorified. You turn on Natural Geography, they show his mega structures, his intellect, how he planned in that era things that now people are still trying to figure out, and like, that kind of Socrates kind of wisdom, kind of Pluto's kind of wisdom, like like to leave a mark in time, so people keep talking. So if it's not changed, it will go out like that for eternity. But it's okay, we had figured that out already. Some people haven't asked the right question to find out the right answers, to know what kind of solutions we can implement, but it's okay. Some people, they have done that for us. They have asked the right questions, they have sought out the right answers, and let's just implement the solutions. Then we will sit again in a quiet moment as they do and discuss how it came about first. The confusion that has been sold in Africa, like Africa needs one ruler to control all, and to date we are still fighting who will be that one person to control all Africa, according to like Africa had never had one ruler, and Africa was never designed to have one ruler. Africa is called the United Kingdoms. It's made up of different kingdoms, different ethnicities, different spiritual views, different gifts. We fail to come to the realization that in our indifferences put together as one, we are magnificent and we are so powerful. Like, we just need to bring back, okay, this one country, Africa, is one. Okay, like, okay, we'll figure out now, like, the rest with time, like how we should distribute power, how we should do this. But again, before we think, like, we are so focused in thinking how to solve them rather than just doing it and figuring it out. That is what Trump is doing. He hadn't gotten everything figured out, but you know what, let's just sign presidential decree on this to be done. They will figure out how we can create policies to back them up, right? Let's do that in Africa. Get up tomorrow. Like, this is the message. All Africans out of Africa, in the diaspora, or however, so even what they call it, trace your roots, where you're coming from, what state, because the independent or survivable countries are so called as states. Like, they have set that standard of state. Yeah, they are states. What state, what region, what village, what tribe, which home. Okay, you can trace all that in less than a week. You know your root. And see it. What they did with China, devaluing China's currency, making China to build more with less. And that's why they are trying to say, China has to step back its currency so they can be at the same level. So if I'm buying something for $1, it's equivalent to $1 in China. Not that I'm buying something for $1 in America, but for China, I have to have 10 of those things for say $1. So making China to progress more. Okay, they have devalued all our currencies. Okay, what you have there, if you have $10,000, you trace your roots in Africa, that $10,000 will worth millions in some currencies. That millions will give you a good piece of land. You build a comfortable home, as you can bring in all the standards of what is there in the West. You put it in your home, hot shower, good bath, and everything. Then you sit in this community with this idea. You restructure the school system, how you want your children to be taught, and how you want your community to go about. But you are not coming to rule. This is the message, please. You are coming as explorers who went to learn, and you are back with a knowledge, or with knowledge, that you sit together as one, as a people. You come together, like, you form a community of all you travelers. You educate those who, you help educate those who are there. You listen to them. They will explain to you how the cultures and traditions run. You all assimilate. You bring in the ideas of your tribes. They bring in the traditions and the rules. You all respect those whom have been chosen by the gods and the ancestors with the power and the sentiment to rule. And you also, like, you implement these, your discoveries, and develop your community in less than no time. Like, if all the blacks in the diaspora, as now the America is telling you, yeah, you need to go back, and you need to go back, and you need to go back, and we have to send them away, we need to deport them, yeah. Okay, if these people whom are affected by a political scheme by the very West, who sold their fathers' lands and mothers' lands to go search for greener pasture, are being deported back to these lands without having to make it. So where are they going to live again? Where are they going to stay? They'll have nowhere to go. They'll be more frustrated, and more crime will increase, because, like, at this moment it's frustrating. Like, leave these things. Like, there are people who tell you they are working slave work, but it's better because at the end of the day they can eat. They have a little bit of though they are being discriminated, or they are being persecuted, or they are being treated poorly. They are being, the racist theory is not theory. It still lives embedded in the core of all the whites. They don't like us. Keep aside this political string they pull because they have been tapping our minerals for more than 50 years and the minerals aren't getting dry, so they keep tapping. So they are told them, like, be friendly with them, but in the very core of it, they are racist. You go to the UK, they still discriminate between white and black. You go to the US, they still discriminate between white and black. You go to China, they still discriminate between white and black. And let me not even talk of China. Those are the worst ones. They are coming with a different agenda, different from the Europeans. Oh, these people can be manipulated and controlled. So the Europeans were playing it fair, like, okay, let's use them indirectly, let's take a mineral. The China is coming to own our lands, which is one of the reasons this message was sent. You don't go to a people's land and own their lands where their forefathers are buried under. No. China has ownership in lands in Africa that, if we can sum them up, it's more than 2 African countries now. Okay, China, if you accept we hold equivalent of these area square piece of land in your country as you do ours, okay, we'll allow you keep it, but this is the answer: they wouldn't. So it's okay, you people should step back first. You have no right over any piece of land in Africa, none. Same as I have no right over any piece of land in Britain, in China, in Russia, in America. No. The idea and the philosophy of digital money that you got from borrowing our trees, and you came here, you learned everything, and you are producing it in a large scale, and you want to use that same thing to own our minerals and own our land. No. Okay, what did Europe do after the 100-year Cold War? They shut down their boundaries. They sent everybody, like, it's okay, we have to maintain a dispute to resolve. You people should go first. Let's resolve our issues and our dispute. We call you back to come and trade with us on our terms. And that is exactly what happened. America did the same thing. China is doing the same thing. Russia did the same thing. So it's time for Africa to do the same thing. You close all the barriers and the boundaries and the how they call it, imaginary barriers and boundaries set between Africa get dissolved in a split second, the same day. How, like, the earth will, someone from Ghana want to go to Ethiopia or to Congo or to Central Africa or to Burundi or somewhere, and they have to book for a visa and they have to pay flights, which is more expensive than somebody living in Switzerland to Sweden to Poland to Netherlands to Denmark. Like, what the F? Who put us in that position that we are not able to think and see that all these schemes and plots are not of our making and our doing, and we still keep holding tight to them because of our greed of power? What power? Come to terms with this and resonate it within our minds and ourselves, that if you are to live as long as you live and you want to, like, implement the safety protocols, living well, high standard, you can live for as most as 150 years, which I doubt, and after that you still die. So that which you are holding onto, they can wait after 150 years and they will change it. But now, this is the message to you all. Okay, America has founding fathers, right? That till they still talk of them, right? And it hasn't changed. And they praised them because they said the trajectory of them moving forward, prioritizing your people and putting them first, same as in the UK, they put UK first. Now in China, they put Chinese in China first before whosoever. So, like, okay, all you current present set of head of state that you won't be there anymore in the next 50 years, of which your predecessors or constitution can be changed, and no matter how you cling and hold to power, you will still relinquish it. Okay, this is a thing for you. You can live forever. How? You just need to do this one big thing, that living forever is not like mortally living forever, but like today people say call Napoleon, people say call Hitler, people say call Socrates, people say call Pluto, people say call how do they call it, Haile Selassie, and people say talk about Master Kankan Musa, people say talk about Thomas Sankara and his brothers and everything. So these people are living forever. So for you to seal yourself in that boat, this is what all of you must do. Forgive me, I'm just a messenger. That is why I decided to take my face off the equation, because I was taught, I came to the realization, the face has always been in target and the face has been sold. So whoever has the weapon to control the narrative of any face can wear the face on something that isn't true and it will be true. For instance, if Africans are to do a little bit of research, like go and read the history of a story, it's not just a story, it's not a fiction, it's fact, of the sun god that lived, and how they go and read history about the Osiris, the Thoth, and all that, and all of it, the who's and all. So it's something that isn't fictional, though the narrative of it is being weaponized to suit who is telling the story, as Professor Lumumba says, and Julius Malema, he's also, I call him an awakened soul and an awakened spirit who isn't fighting for himself, because he has come to the realization, resonated and awakened, sent by his ancestors to do that which is right, not short term but long term, if he's given the opportunity. Though the politicians and the conceptual West are still fighting him, because they fear if this Africa is to come one today, and these are imaginary line stories, propaganda lies that have been telling us, and we work from it and we put our past, different paths together, this indifference, and instead of it causing us to be different, but we embrace our indifferences to be one, we will be powerful. Like we have the code in our DNA to break about teleportation, to travel across space and time in a spirit second. Is in our DNA. Though they are still trying to solve the math to find X has gone. We can't solve X, because we can solve X as black people, as people with this gift. We come together, we understand it, and we listen, and we do the right thing the right way, and we put together that which is supposed to be, and we do it. That which is supposed to have been done, that which is supposed to be done, we do it, not propagating that which isn't to be. We will break through all this in a spirit second. The secrets are there. We just go back to the root, we communicate with it, we understand it, we tap into it, and it's been given to us. Yeah, in Africa, there are clans that you can go there. They will give you the secret to travel from here to America, from here to Russia, in a spirit second, less than a minute. You live from here to America, you live from here to in any part of the world, and they are aware of it, they know it. So the teleportation, like we can go in forms, different forms, or we can see transform this our form and go. And when the camera picked how black people can set a bridge where we had these armor bridges, the amok, they cross it over large surfaces so people can cross, those who are not spiritually gifted or enlightened, so they can go about. But those who can spiritually do it, they go about it so they don't need it. So when they saw us, a people can sit and come together and construct a bridge in a day, spiritual, using propagating their spiritualism into physical and doing it, and they couldn't solve it, and they had to go about drawing diagrams and trying to find the X and get the stability to do it. That is why China construct bridges at night. The finishing and the circuit anking of it, they do it at night, not during the day, because they know, as Russia and America, as they themselves are spying on the world, that secret will be, if they do it during the daylight, others will automatically pick it up and do it. So that's why they do it at night, when the cameras can really understand and capture it. So forgive me, it's so much that I usually go out of out of line. I don't even know. Excuse me, 1 minute. I had to take a minute to get some things like this one. They say he who bring cola nuts bring life. This is water. It's eternal. We made it, we'll go and we'll allow it. One of the elements of nature. It water our crops. It helps us survive as a people. Animals and plants drink it and we live. Added to the wind, the sun, the earth, and fire, and the magnetic force of earth and nature. That reunifying force that keeps all these other forces, this element, revolving as one, intertwined. Okay, I had to go and do a prayer, like my people taught me, that if you are going and asking for something, you speak to the kola nut, your request, and you throw it and they will answer. So I threw it twice, it wasn't responding. Then I threw it again the third time and I got the result. For those who know how to read it, this is it. So 1, 2, 3 open, 1 cover. So this one is the answer according to my tradition, as they say it. If all covers and 1 opens, that one is the answer. So this, they'll call it witchcraft, but it's nature. This kola nut is an element of nature. It's a plant, it grows, we harvest it, we eat, and we do whatsoever. But again, it has its spiritual past. So that is kola nut. And I will go with that, forgive me. So the request I made with the kola nut before throwing it was for this message to, if it's what they had asked me to do and to share, the revelation they showed me, to pass it on, and if they accept for me to do it. I have been wanting to do it for the longest time. I got it since last year, 2024. I was to do it before the starting of 2025, but some shortcomings here and there, and when asked today, they gave me the go ahead to do it. So there. So like when I started, I said the message is to all blacks, to all Africans. When I say black Africans, like we know the story, who came first, who came last, who is still here and who isn't, who is taking what that is in theirs that others know. Like the Jews were the first. They learned a great deal. Then came others. So along their course, the Persians came, the Portuguese came, the whosoever came. the Jews were like, that's why I see in the world they hold them in such great esteem and they protect them and all that, because they went with so much sacred and knowledge. They destroyed many they couldn't go with us. You will see most statues they discovered in the later the early days in Egypt with broken parts, though they keep some, but the Jewish people destroyed that because they couldn't go with some, but they have most. Then after they left, the English came. They had to also enjoy and eat from the pie. They ate the pie from the pot. Then when the English went, the Romans came. The Romans, like they use their political religious agenda to propagate their said to be religion that they stole from Africa and changed their narrative. I still tell those who want to know deep about more religion originality, the real volume of it, it's still left in Ethiopia. That's one of the reasons why you see when the Italians went to Abyssinia to try to cause destruction and everything, they wanted that other copy of the Bible so they can disappear it and their narrative and version will stay, but they couldn't succeed. It was more of a spiritual battle than the physical. You know, we never had sophisticated equipment like them. They had to travel all the way with ships and all that and came to fight Ethiopia, but they couldn't succeed because the secret in the Bible and the message that is left there is big and is something that must be known by all Africans who want to seek it. So on that, they tell, like say the Romans. So after the Romans, the Romans give birth to the Arabs, because after they infiltrated, we know the great Roman Empire, as they have left their mark in history and that, and they will be talked for. They have already acted movies that I believe will be for the longest time, if not ever. So the Arabs, the Ottoman Empire, as I call it, as we all call it, we know the story. Started the tribes, those who had to dissolve a mountain. They dissolved down the mountain, forged the most toughest spear and swords, had the most sophisticated arrows. They were enlightened and they went with the guidance of their faith till they took over Constantinople and established their state and the present-day Turkey. But at that time, the Ottoman Empire like grew up with its own urge and hunger, as the Romans did, to spread their own version of religion and history to be accepted by others, of which African had theirs, but they never respected it. So after they pushed the Romans out, they spread and came to Africa, settled there, met very peaceful people, met these people who had everything, but they are so peaceful, friendly. So the early Arabs at that time, the Ottoman Empire who settled at that time, never had the intentions of owning things or taking that which is not theirs. But you know, as the corruption spread and everything, those who were there now changed to settle there and own and like fought the indigenous people of those lands, even. And in every country in Africa that like the Arabs there, the indigenous people of those lands from the beginning are blacks, and they are always the minority in it. Even in South Africa, the majority of those who control the power in the world are still the English and the Europeans who came over across the ocean in search of better life, and they want to own that which is not theirs, and that is what their ancestors and the gods of Africa have risen and said is enough and it needs to stop. All it requires is for all Africans to come as one. So this is the thing, like as the message states and goes, each and every African, black African, wherever they are, they trace their roots, they come to the state